I'm going to talk about two things to do with breathing. Firstly, the basic technique, breathing on a brass instrument. We expand our lungs by pulling them downwards. We do that by pushing our stomach muscles out. The lungs get pulled down and air finds its way into the lungs. It's called air pressure. So basically you breathe in by pushing your stomach out and air comes in. So this is an intake of breath, and as you blow through the instrument, your stomach finds its way back in again. You get to the point where you need another breath. Stomach comes out as the air rushes in, and you pressurize the lungs by pulling the stomach muscles back in again. That puts pressure on the lungs and out the air comes. So running out of breath, push the stomach out, and when you push the stomach out, it must be quite relaxed, but as you're pulling it in again to pressurize the air, a bit of tension down here is quite a good thing. But if you get tense in the stomach, be very, very careful that you don't get tension up here in the neck and the throat, because if you get tension in the neck and the throat, you'll never get a sweet sound out of your instrument. So that's something to avoid almost at any cost. The other thing to do to avoid is make sure you don't lift your shoulders as you breathe in. So for example, this is a disaster as well, because tension up here, that's going to lead to tension in the throat. Basically, you don't want any tension at all up here in the shoulders and the throat. So practice breathing in by throwing the stomach out in a relaxed way, and then applying a little bit of tension as it comes in again as the air comes out. Now you can think of that, if you like, as a vertical seesaw. So as you throw the stomach out and the air comes in, and as you squeeze the stomach back in again, the air comes out. So the stomach and the air are working in opposite directions. So the air's all out now. I'm going to breathe in, stomach goes out, air comes in, air comes out, stomach comes in, breathe in, and then out comes the air again. Okay, that's the first thing that I want to talk about. And just a reminder to avoid tension in the throat and avoid tension in the shoulders as well, particularly this one. Avoid that. It's okay if the chest comes up. If you breathe in, that's quite good actually. If you lift your chest as you throw your stomach out, that may not be a bad thing at all, but avoid lifting your shoulders as you breathe in, because that will invariably result in tension. Now, most beginners get into all sorts of scrapes because they don't breathe enough air in, particularly when they have the opportunity to do so. Sometimes there is very little time to breathe in, and even the best players can only get a tiny amount of air into their lungs at those points. But beginners particularly, they leave their breathing till the last possible moment, or almost the last impossible moment, and they can't get enough air into their lungs. They remind me of rabbits in the road at night time. They sit in the road absolutely terrified, staring into the headlamps of oncoming vehicles, and of course they get squashed. Don't be like the rabbits sitting in the road. Take plenty of time, breathe well in advance, and maximize your lung capacity. Now, some people have obviously got much bigger lungs than others. I've got rather poor lung capacity, but I have to sort of just get on with what I've got, and that's what you will have to do as well. Now, what I'm going to show you now is what I call the super breath. This was a trick taught to me by a piccolo player in one of the top London symphony orchestras. Sometimes he has to do the most extraordinary pyrotechnics on his piccolo, and he needs huge amounts of air in order to do this. Now, I'm not suggesting that you do this every time you need to breathe in. You can't, because you won't have time. But if you do practice this and try and meet it halfway and take much deeper, slower, longer breaths than you're doing at the moment, that won't be a bad thing. Now, I'm going to show you this super breath. Now, I'm going to start playing when the second hand gets round to the top. So I've just got a few seconds now to explain what I'm going to do. I'm going to take 2 or 3 lungfuls of air and then immediately blow them out and take another one in again, almost to the point where I'm going to hyperventilate. I'm going to get a huge amount of oxygen into my bloodstream and lots of air into my lungs. And right at the last possible moment just before I play. In the last few seconds here, I'm going to sip, 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 and grab as much air as I can right up to the moment that I have to play. So imagine, okay, I've got 15 seconds now, so I've got to get on with it. Breathe in, blow out.